Hey everybody, welcome to episode 127 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. And jingle. Welcome back. I'm Ben, and once again, I'm joined by Lumberjack Ben. BT, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well, thanks.
Winter is coming. We're both actually in hoodies.
Finally, I love it.
Well, yeah, I'm actually pretty appreciative of it as well. But we are also joined by TO extraordinaire and 3D printing correspondent Ian Triple Power Triplo. Trips, how you doing?
Oh, evening, gents. All good.
He's flexing in his polo shirt. He doesn't. He's got heating.
It's the red light
Polo
in the
shirt.
back as well, Trips, that just makes it look like. Yeah, it's a bit. You have a kingly vibe to you. So actually having like a fireplace in the background would make an incredible amount of sense. Oh, dear. Cables everywhere.
Everything just reacts to me.
Oh no, you've gone quiet again.
Oh,
He's just be further away. That's all it was.
Oh, okay.
There
That's
we go.
fine. That is how sound works. I do forget this sometimes. Okay, so 127 BT. What's on the cards for today?
We're going to be having a little preview for Bonehead Bowl, which is a tournament that we're filming. Well, the tournament that we're running next weekend, which I'm really excited about. Mixed teams, Carnage. Going to be fun.
I am super excited about this for a myriad of reasons. We won't be filming this one, and this is kind of another reason why I'm super excited about it, because it means on the day there's no distractions. It is just hanging out with people, watching the games, and I'm well excited for that. It's mixed teams, like Ben said, which is outrageous. We sold out at 50 people, which is also outrageous. We've maxed out in tournament. We have had a few dropouts, so actually there'll be a little bit more space, so it's pretty reasonable. I'm expecting 42 or something on the day, which is still very awesome for an in-house tournament. And thanks to the work of Milton and Trips, all the flipping rosters are in, so we can actually have a preview episode where we talk about just some of the combinations that we're going to see, which is really cool. So this is like, yeah, you guys have done an incredible job. I've been coughing my lungs up, and you guys have just been like, yeah, don't worry, we'll just run the best tournament that we've done yet. And we haven't even had it yet. So I'm super excited for this, and you guys have done a brilliant job already. Ooh, excuse me. Right. We've got some Blood Bowl news to catch up on, so let's go straight into that. Not from Games Workshop, but from everybody else. So it is towards the end of the month, which is the most exciting time in Blood Bowl, because it means all the Patreons out there are starting to get brewed up ready for next month. Now, because of the sporadic schedule this month, I pushed it back a week because I couldn't really speak. We got a couple of things to catch up on. So Brute Fun has wrapped up the second part of the Vampire team. And I mean, I loved the first part. The Vampire... we saw the painted version of the vampire big guy, the big bat, the bat ogre on our stream, the Eonoff. Actually, Eonoff is kind of Von Eonoff. There you go. I might have to rename my vampire teams for that. But he's dropped it out. Now, the cool thing that Bruty's done with this is he's continued the vampire roster, but expanded it in such a way that you've got all the pieces for a human team as well as a vampire team. So he's added additional blitzers, additional runners, you need 2 throwers anyway. But he's just added enough to have 4 blitzers and use the runners as catchers, and you've got a ton of linemen, and you've got a ton of the gargoyles to use as halflings. A ton, 2, that's a ton. If you mirror them, that's 4, that's more than enough. And you've got 2 different throwers, and he's done such a good job. You've got like helmet options and everything like that. So I think the final team is 7 thralls, and therefore 2 throwers, 4 runners, 4 blitzers, a token, because people kept asking for the token, 2 different gargoyles, which are bloomin' love. And I think, before we get to the star players, the highlight of the entire team for me, have you guys seen this little tiny bit here? This
actually hadn't.
Is a blood bag. This is something that he's put on the side, on back of all of his thralls. You can kind of see it in the sculpts here. Basically, it links into the vein of the thrall. Now, he's done blood bags, so you can just stick it on any lineman that you want and make them a thrall, especially because the new vampires have got the Vampire Lord special ability now. So if a dude dies, they get to come back as a thrall, which, I know, raises some continuation issues, but I think we already talked about this on the pod, didn't we? And we found the I believe button because it's actually pretty fun. It lines up with all the other undead teams things, and now you can end up with like an orc thrall or something like that, which I think is a very cool thing to kind of just add to the whole vampire vibe, as well as an excellent Count Luther who does not look entirely like Salt Bay, which gives you a nice alternative to the Forge World one. I'm a big fan of the Forge World model, but the Bruty one is exquisite. And as he was sculpting it, I did test print the vampires as well, so you can print it without the bats just falling off, which was a really important part. So it was nice to see part of Brute Fun's process in this, because he was like, hey, I've sculpted this, can you print it and just make sure that it comes off all right? And actually, first time round was a bit thin, so we added some more bats. Chonky now. Light supports or pre-supported, you can just do that satisfying spider web tear, and it's perfectly fine.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
perfect.
20 points for that. And what day is it today? This is coming out Friday for 5. So the Karina so the Karina video will be out as well for the Star Player Spotlight. If you're liking the look of Carla von Fangs or Karina von Rees, Captain Karina, you may like the stats, but you may not entirely like the derpy Forge World model. It's not bad. I think it's probably one of those models that looks just much better from a different angle.
Yeah.
I really do think that. However, Brute Fun has just been like, yep, no worries, I've got you covered, guys. Here's a vampire runner with a hat ready for you to be running as Captain Karina. And I did the Star Player Spotlights for both these guys this week, and I'm just really excited for both of them. I think you can brew up some really cool rosters, and I think they're both really useful in League. Like Captain Karina, 240 or whatever for movement 7, strength 4, edge 2+ with dodge and hypnogaze, and the first bloodlust she fails bites an opponent. So if you fail a bloodlust on a blitz with her, she can rock up 2 die someone, or you just declare hypnogaze, fail the bloodlust, rock up, hypnogaze one dude, bloodlust another, and just absolutely take off the side of a cage. Now, obviously, her and that doesn't even cause a turnover from bloodlust. So there's going to be some really great bad turns with her. So you kind of cannot wait for the first bloodlust to fail.
Yeah.
The second
It's
one
an interesting
is a
mechanic. I
problem.
really like it. I really like it. Yeah.
When we first saw it on the community, the Warcom article, it was kind of like, I don't know how this is going to work, because I think they showed it before they actually explained what bloodlust was, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it was like, good. I think this is good. Well, actually, I think this is brilliant. Now, that mid-range price puts her in kind of like a little bit more than Zug, kind of Zug, Carla, kind of mid-range star player. But I don't know, like, I think the Sylvanian Spotlight teams are going to be over the moon to have a cheeky little Edge 2+ piece.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, like Undead and Tomb Kings, like...
Yeah, movement 7 is not quite the same as Cheney. But I don't know. I think I'd rather take move 7, Edge 2+ than move 8,
definitely.
Edge 3+ on an undead team.
Yeah, the rest of your team can't really catch up anyway, so... Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. And of course, Luther, as I was kind of working through the prep and just talking about him on the Star Player Spotlight, I was like, he's really good, blah, blah, blah. He's like a griff. And I was like, dude, this guy is just everything. Like, the fail case of him is, I guess I'll just pick up the ball with him. And you're like, well, if you're running him in a league, you don't really like your star player to be the ball carrier. And then you kind of twig that he's a movement 6, strength 5, edge 2+ block piece. I was like, oh, you know what? That's fine.
This guy is like what a vampire is, isn't it? No, it's just like he's bad at nothing. Like he can do everything.
if he had sunglasses, he would be Blade. It would be amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, Bruty's done an absolutely awesome job of the sculpt. Again, just providing you a really good alternative for what I think are 2 of the most exciting star players they've released recently. Yeah. So anyway, that was the Brute Fun vampire/human team, and two of some of the best star player sculpts we've had in a really long time. I'm super high on vampires. I'm super high on the Brute Fun team here.
How are your vampires coming along?
Well, I painted the whole team ready for the stream.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was a good afternoon actually. Yeah, I actually got down, painted a whole team, and now it's ready for League. I was ready to go to League last night, and it was cancelled. Due to half term, all you people with children out there in City Hall.
Be you soon.
Apparently very soon. Where are we now? 25th of the 10th. 6 weeks? 7 weeks? 7 weeks in theory.
It's exciting.
Yeah. 16th of December is the goal. We think she might be a bit early. Tiff had the midwife today. I was stuck in Bracknell. And they were like, yeah, she's 3 out of 5 engaged. So, and size is looking good. Could be looking a bit early. And I'm like, no. No. This is Trip's fault. I mean, ultimately, it's my fault. But Trips, what was it you said to me last month? This month?
I said this month you could be a dad next month.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was a pretty peculiar moment. But there's just so much to buy, so I could use another month. But I don't think that's really in my control. Right.
We talk baby stuff or hobby stuff?
I think my window of buying hobby stuff is over. My most exciting hobby purchase in the last month was spending £600 on fence panels, and to have the garden redone.
It's legit exciting though.
They look really swish. I'm really happy with it. And given the loot that's in the garden's a bit of a fortress now. I put 2 massive bolts on the front of the big shed as well, like just proper chunky bolts. It's so satisfying. Anyway, Brute Fun is on a roll, so we're kind of starting to look at what's coming up next month. We've got Bruty here doing orcs. Now, I've seen some green skin teams from Brute Fun, and they're pretty spectacular. We've got the Goblin team, we've got the Black Orc team, we've got a variety of insanely good star players, and Bruty has been chomping at the bit to get into orcs, and this is just one who's got massively Bane vibes. Basically, he's doing an orc team, so part of it is like an improved version of his first team, which was that Black Orc team. And his blitzers are looking awesome as well. I haven't got the picture up for the blitzer because the whole team's still under process, but Brute Fun, I think, is best. The vampire team is fantastic, and I love the Skaven team, but I think he's best when brewing up Badlands Brawls characters, and this orc team is going to be fantastic.
I agree. Like, he sends through pictures every now and then. And I'm just like, I've run out of words to say, because like every time it's just like, oh, what's a synonym for like outstanding?
Thesaurus.com.
Yeah, these are just like they're so crisp. I love them. I can't wait to have these. Like I really wanted like a really solid orc team, and this is it. So,
well, and the best thing is now that you can genuinely have, or you would soon be able to have, 2 or 3 really different sculpts, but really clearly which positionals they are. So you can mix and match your Bruty greenskins together. So it's an excuse to have a nice big roster and stack them all with guard and block and make Milton happy.
Well, I've been inspired by this to do a. Are you familiar with the Green Destroyers? It was the orc team from the original Dungeon Bowl. The 1988 version. The colleges were different back then, and this was like the first time you could have goblins and orcs on the same team. I'm thinking of brewing up a Green Destroyers team for Dungeon Bowl, but it's like a Black Orc team and an Orc team and a Goblin team, just like one big team of greenskins. Just because, why would you not? Absolutely. Absolutely wicked. So that we got coming next month, which is cool. I figured it's time to check in on Punga as well. Got a bit of weird noise in the background there, guys. Is someone grinding things?
It's like War of the Worlds.
Are we being attacked?
I can hear it, so I'm assuming it's Ian.
Ooh.
Trips.
If you can't hear like mechanical grinding, then
Yeah.
it's coming from you.
And we're back. I tell you what, it's been a little while since we had a bit of tech
Yeah.
to sort out on the pod. It's kind of old
Yeah.
school. And then I panicked Ben by singing a X-rated Tenacious D song. It's like, please leave this in. I was like, no. No. Anyway, it's Halloween in a week's time, and Punga are working on part 2 of their Necro team. Do you know, I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to print part 1 yet, which do you know what? With the amount of teams and stuff that are coming out, taking a month off is really not the worst thing, like in this release schedule, because it's like, right, okay, part 1's come out, I've got 4 weeks, then it'll be part 2. So if I just go and focus on the other teams in the meantime and come back round, then it's actually just like every other month, each different, like Brute Bun and Ugni and Punga just like drop a complete team. They're just filling out the Necro team, and I saw in their Discord that people have been pushing for the undead pieces as well. So they might be expanding this to fill the role of an undead team.
Nice.
But what is this, Ben? Have you got your pictures in the wrong order? Oh, you just haven't done it. Oh, I failed. Anyway, the part 1 of Punga, I didn't put it in because we did talk about it in the podcast, because Milton was like, oh my god, I'll have to get this team. It's a good team. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
Yeah, I love it. It's so clean.
Figured it's time we checked in on Ugni as well. I think we looked at part 1 of their Wood Elf release. So Ugni seem to be doing this kind of nature vibe at the moment. They went hard in on mushrooms for their Nurgle team, and they've gone hard in on dryads for their Wood Elf team. Now we saw part 1; it's really, really good, but I think they've flexed out even more on part 2. They've completed it with cheerleaders. Basically, I think we talked about it before. It was like kind of like Smite Revenants, but for Blood Bowl. So if you're familiar with Age of Sigmar, they've got the Smite Revenants and I don't know, whatever other Age of Sigmar. Talking of thesauruses and synonyms, whatever other synonym name they gave for them, then they've gone with that style. So it's half wood. Now, a lot of them have the little fairy wings. Over the moon to find out that the Ugni actually provide them as an alternative sculpt without the fairy wings as well. So if you're not a fan, if you want it kind of more a dark, grimy forest, a half tree, half elf, kind of like to go with that kind of Spite Revenant vibe, which is Age of Sigmar, which is like body of a dryad, but with like a blue elf bit poking out. It super fits this theme. And they've done a few star players for it as well. So they've got.
I was going to say, I love the Willow.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of Willow here. It's kind of like Alien versus Predator take on Willow. It's just kind of menacing. Which makes me feel bad about kind of Willow's stats. But that's a really cool rendition for Willow. They've got a good coach model. I think they've got this. I think this is supposed to be the Apothecary. Oh, I've not got that in shot. I think this is supposed to be the Apothecary. They do a really good job of putting like the coaching staff and stuff in their teams.
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember Glimmer Shard something Sparkle Wing or something from last edition?
No.
They introduced them for a short period of time, and it was like this weird strength 2 elf, not elf, but like fairy star player for Wood Elves.
Yeah, Swift Fine Glimmer Shard.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I said. I'd forgotten about that star player until we saw this point. But I don't know. I like the kind of like little fairy things. It is kind of dark fairy tale vibe. And I'm super impressed. I mean, Ugly do some really, really, really good job. I wasn't like, this is not a team for me, but I massively appreciate the execution. What's your take on half elf, half tree people?
I love them, honestly. Like, this is like a sort of a Warhammer theme that I'm really into. I really like the sort of dark, like Fae stuff. And yeah, I really want this team. I think it would.
Fae is that's bang on the money.
Yeah, and I think you can make it, even with the wings and stuff, be really sinister. I'd be worried about printing the wings, honestly.
So I did print some of the first batch, and I think most of the wings were all right. I had a couple that kind of died a bit, but I like that they give you the choice.
Yeah, I think I'd probably leave them off for just fragility reasons. But yeah, the rest of the team is just really, really, really smart.
So that's part 2. That's out right now, and they've shown a preview of what's coming up next month. And they've gone for Tomb Kings. Now, they've got the classic Ugy kind of scratchy vibe, which they do this thing where I think it must be just the kind of the texture that they use for their 3D printing. Everything kind of looks like kind of beaten copper, which translates very well to this kind of metallic vibe. Skeletons are great. They've gone with an interesting kind of style of, especially for one of the Tomb Guardians, where it kind of looks like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson died. They left him in a desert for a while and then summoned him back. He's even kind of doing the eyebrow, except he's a skeleton and doesn't have eyebrows. So first 4 have been shown. It's looking promising so far. How can he do some great stuff? I don't believe at the moment this is pipped. The Realm of Paths one for me is the best digital Tomb Kings, but they are not bad at all.
I don't know. I think this is doing it for me. I think this has. I think the proportions on this, I think I prefer them. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see the rest of the team.
Yeah.
But this is looking really nice.
So
So I just wanted to say, sorry, I looked up that Swiftfind dude.
yeah,
It came out in 2019. There is no way. That feels like it was like last year.
dude, it's 2023. We've one thing Tiff and I discovered like the other week, where we kind of just because bless her, she went on maternity leave, and naturally what happens when you get a bit of time off work, you immediately get sick. And then what happens when you live with someone who gets sick? You get sick as well. And so we both had our week off, and we were both very sick, so we were kind of mincing through Netflix as you do, and came across BattleBots, which is just American Robot Wars. So imagine Robot Wars, but with just all esports, like commentary and introductions. And honest to God, it is the best thing I've ever seen. We're on episode 8 at the moment, and it's absolutely fantastic. We were kind of watching it, like
I can imagine the teams walking on, just like, but like proper nerds in their like matching shirts coming on to Imagine Dragons. That's what I'm imagining.
wow, it's so good. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, no, there is a future where I am these people, and I'm fine with it. But like it's from 2018,
right?
and
It's like 2018. That was last year.
it's 5 years old. Like it was before COVID and everything. I was like, oh man, like this is like the forgotten half decade.
Yeah, right. I was just saying like 2019. I'm just like, that can't have been like that was like so recent. I was like, no, that was like so much has happened since then.
I kind of feel like that about The Matrix though, because it's 1999. I'm like, oh, Matrix is a relatively recent movie from 24 years ago. And I saw a horrifying thing the other day that said, lol, the Lord of the Rings came out as far away from now as the Star Wars movie was for most of you. And I'm like,
insane.
oh no. Yeah, you're right. First time I watched Star Wars was probably about 97, and it was 20 years old. And obviously the Lord of the Rings is 20 years old now. And it's like, oh no, when my daughter is old enough to watch Lord of the Rings, it will be like 30 years old. And it will be the new hope of my generation.
That is ridiculous.
It is. But I watched The Two Towers the other day, and it was fantastic. It was so good.
Obviously.
And I got to tell Tiff how he broke his foot as he kicked the helmet.
Oh, rite of passage.
Yeah. I was like, watch this. This is some prime acting. You'll never guess what.
Just cream. Yeah.
I think we've got a little bit more here. So Torchlight, they're going Nurgle as well. It's really interesting. We had a phenomenal couple of years with 3D printed teams where I feel like, and another Nurgle team. We've got the Ugy Mushroom team. We've got 2 brilliant Nurgle teams from Punga, and now we've got Torchlight going after the Nurgle team as well. I'm actually a big fan of the Pestigors. They're a little bit cartoony, but that's kind of what Torchlight does. But they're not as thin and scraggly as some of the Torchlight models tend to be. A couple of their teams have been a little bit egregious to print, actually, to the point where I'm tempted to switch off the Torchlight teams from the shop because they're just... it's just a bit of a pain. Like print a necromantic team 4 times to get the necromantic team, stuff like that. So but I like the aesthetic they're going for. I personally think they peaked with the Khorne team. They've had some great teams, but this has got the same kind of vibe, but their bloater that they've shown off, I think, is really good. Really simple. Really kind of light on detail. I think this is probably going to be one of those teams that paints up beautifully well. Kind of like the Punga Pirate Orc team they did a little while ago. Like the details there where you need it, but otherwise it's actually just quite chill. So I've been impressed with this, and I think this Torchlight team is going to provide you some really good individual models if you're going to do a little bit of College of Life, if you want to add something different to a Nurgle, like a Chaos team or something. Yeah, I like the way this is going. Haven't seen the Rot Spawn yet, so be really interested to see where they go with that, because the Torchlight big guys have been pretty good. I know, Trips, you printed a bit of the Torchlight stuff off as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I did the Corn team, which is a great team, but even then the Bloodseekers are, I think, 110, 115%. Yeah, is right, because they're not quite big enough for the big strength punchy guys.
Yeah, but I like where they're going with the Nurgle team on this one. Oh, we got a couple of bits more. It's been a busy news month. Realm of Paths, the aforementioned, in my opinion, King of the Tomb Kings, have dropped a Space Frog team. I'm not sure if we had a look at this on the podcast before. I thought it was worth rising as well, because I know how much emotional distress Slan causes to some people. Normally the people who are playing them who can't roll above a 3. I love Slan. I think they're a great addition to Blood Bowl, and I cannot wait for Ben to be right when they get remade into a Slanesh team at some point.
It's coming.
But at the rate we've been this year, I think the Slanesh squig bet is going to come to nothing.
Yeah. It's dead.
I think yeah. I think that's not coming to fruition. But they've done a really good job with this one. They've got all the frog positionals. It's a very amphibian looking team, less cartoony than the others.
Yeah, I think we did have this on the pod, because I remember seeing it and being like, it takes a lot to dethrone the Punga Slan team.
Oh.
But I think these are actually pretty close, because I just think it's a different take. It's a different take. They still unmistakably frogs, but they're just a bit more dynamic, a bit more detailed. These look more like I don't know what to say, really. It's like how they're so obviously different, but I can't put my finger on what is different about them.
I think the faces are more snake-like.
Yeah, they are a bit longer, aren't they? They're just like a bit longer.
Yeah, less cartoony. But I mean, no matter how you look at this, the Realm of Path have done a phenomenal job of the sculpting on this team. Again, like they've executed their style vision, I think, perfectly. You cannot fault any of the detail. Yeah, it's a team of frog people, so it may not be your cup of tea. Recommend you trying them out because they're worth playing. But I mean, they've done a phenomenal job, I think, on the sculpting. There isn't a derpy pose. There isn't there's a fragile sculpt. And given that you could make frog people you could probably do quite a bad job of it. I think they've done a great job. And the really cool thing about this is this was voted for by their tribes people.
Awesome.
So they were like, which team do you want us to do? And everyone spammed Space Frogs. And they did a great job. So actually, being Ben as a creative, taking something that you don't particularly want to do, or that somebody else is telling you to do, and having and coming to an execution that's this well done, I think that's a serious task.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
And that's really cool to see from another Patreon. We've got a couple of bits more. Oh yeah, just wanted to show that their next project, they're working on dwarves.
Oh, okay.
Trips. Apart from the Punga dwarf team, is there a leading 3D printed dwarf team kicking around?
Not really. No, there's lots of dwarfish models, but not. There's not a sort of a go-to set for them. There's quite a few good OWA teams, but you are short of most of the dwarf positionals.
Yeah, I think you got to give it to Ugny. The OWA Conquistador team is tip top. But for dwarves, I mean, there's a ton of great third-party dwarf teams. The Fanath one is just one of my favourite. Grebo, outrageously good dwarf teams. The Chaos one and the standard Dwarf Team. So it'd be cool to see where they go with this. Looks like they're going down the traditional vibe. It does smack of the Games Workshop team, but Blood Bowl is Blood Bowl, and they've gone, how would a Games Workshop Dwarf look in Blood Bowl? And I think they've nailed it. So I'm excited to see this. It all comes down to the Death Roller and the Troll Slayers for me when it comes to a Dwarf team. Those are the most exciting pieces. Those are the ones with the most character. And if you get them right, the rest of the team doesn't really matter because you're just going to paint them blue and block things with them. So, you know.
And we should probably say about Death Roller that we say so much that you'll never see a Death Roller. And unfortunately, in our local league, James has bought a Death Roller. And it's fair to say, I don't think that's the most popular positional that anybody else sees.
It's a huge TV investment, but Dirty Player +2, it
grim.
does some stuff, right?
I think it's like in like 3 games on double-digit casualties.
That's proper old school Blood Bowl. That's the kind of stuff you'd read in the Did You Know section.
Yeah,
I think that's when the game starts to really come alive. And do you know what? It's been a while since the Lamborn miners have kind of been out and about, doing better than the 49ers anyway. But let's move on.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of Kickstarters.
Most Dirty Player, so 23 fouls, 3 games.
That's wow.
horrible.
Yeah.
In league.
Adam Pike, if you were listening, time to get a Death Roller. Time to get a Death Roller. I had a quick swizz on Kickstarter when I got back from head office today, and we've got a couple of bits to talk about. We've got Fantasy Football Ratmen, 28mm Fantasy Football Ratmen in resin and metal. So this one's only got 70 hours to go, which I think will just peg it for the weekend. Tell you what, Ben, you could just read the screen here. Reaches its goal by Saturday, October 28th at 7 p.m. BST. So this will come out the morning. If you haven't noticed this, go for that. Now, it looks like they've got some old school hand-sculpted Skaven that look incredibly like the 2nd edition stuff for Blood Bowl, but with a kind of a slightly cuter twist on it. I can see these being a really endearing team, and yes, I know I'm a Skaven apologist, but that just looks like straight out of 1988, but without paying the eBay prices for it, which is 15 quid a model for a 1988 Blood Bowl model.
Is it?
Yeah, well, Skaven.
Yeah,
because I was like, I might just get an old school Skaven thrower, and paint it up and be all like retro, chuck on some Goblin Green. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can afford that. Because, £15 a model, and I want to get a few of them. Ooh, it soon makes Forge World look decent in that vibe. But they've done a cool job here. So full team and pledge, they've got a big guy as well. It's got some old school sculpting charm. They've done a really lovely job of painting them up because, again, this here absolutely smacks of the stuff you'd see in White Dwarf pre-Red Era. This is White Dwarf 100 to 130. This is the muted palette, the basing style, everything makes me so happy.
It's very like Burrows and Badgers, isn't it?
That's what I mean. It's got that cuter spin to it, especially with the big guy. Let's see if they've got. Oh, I love how astute this is as well. This is a proper Kickstarter. Like no big shenanigans.
Graphics.
no big graphics. Metal casting by Macrocosm. Oh, okay. Well, then I can vouch for this then. Macrocosm do some absolutely wonderful models. So really cool. Really big fan of that. Let's have a look. They've done a 7s team. They've added an extra R to it, but that's fine. A resin 7s team, 15 quid. Two blitzers, 2 runners, and 3 line rats.
That's very good.
That's pocket money pricing. 7s team metal. Oh, Ben, you can get a metal team. Full squad resin metal, 25 quid.
That's really good.
6 line rats, 2 blitzers, 3 runners. 3 runners. Who are you? What is wrong with this person? What happened to them in their childhood that made them think that that's acceptable? Oh man, what is this? I mean, I love your sculpting, but I think you might be a villain.
There's 4 runners in that full squad.
Yeah, £35 for the full squad, including the rat ogre. with the
Okay.
fourth runner, 9 line rats, 18 players, £35. That is absolutely
Good deal.
wicked. And it's in metal as well. Oh, there is just something about that makes me so happy. £35 is pretty good. That's retro. This is really like a happy little retro thing here.
Retro priced as well, which is great.
Yeah, priced reasonably. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Blood Bowl Kickstarter that was less than £65-70 for a
Yeah,
team?
like a physical.
Well, is
Yeah,
that
physical.
physical? No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. I look forward to seeing that. They've crushed their goal. It was a small goal, but actually, this is a really cool little indie Blood Bowl team that I might have to back in a moment when we're done with this. And the last one is Pro Turf. So 7 days to go on this one, and this is a rollable grass textured fantasy football pitch. They've crushed their goal. They've got over 100 people backing it. There's a week left, and we did get to see a preview of this. And I mean, Trips, I think you sorted out for us, and I got you got it.
They did them at Enjoyment, and they're actually in Enjoyment on Saturday for a preview showing as well. So I might pop in and have a nose, because any excuse to pop into Enjoyment.
So, I mean, they did give us a preview one. Unfortunately, it was during the move from like the house move, so like the prospect of doing unboxings was not eligible. But the pitch was really well done. I have seen some pictures of Drew's. He's added some details to the pitch as well, which has been really nice. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see some of Drew's bits and bobs on here. Maybe they haven't. But hey, you've got the bits and bobs there from Brute Fun. I realise this is not very good listening. Anyway, what it is a rollable pitch on rubber with static grass, and it's squared out. It looks kind of like a picnic basket. It's got, if you're a halfling player, this is a very halfling pitch. And it is, this is the interesting thing, £45 for a pitch. Sidewinder pitch, pair of trapdoors. You've got the standalone trapdoors to go on there, which is cool. Dead grass on a thin mat. The thick mat is 45 as well. And you've got a couple of different pitch designs. It's really good. It's a little bit simple on the design, but again, if you look at Drew Blood, he's added details to his pitch, and it's really filled it out, really come to life. Super impressed with it. Really good product, and I tell you what, it's lasted. It's lasted really nicely.
I was really impressed with how durable it was.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so impressed with it, because it kind of just got added to the pile.
Properly tested.
It got added to the pile. It moved house. It stayed in my car for a little while as well. Along with that box of bits you gave me to give to Craig, Ian.
At the last tournament we ran.
I don't know when he's going to get those, but they are put aside for him, along with an Imperial Knight as well. So I don't know. I've just got like this big pile of boxes I need to give to Craig. They got Barrow Grass, which is like a brown version, and they got the Broadsword, which is like a green version. Green version looks really good. Expect to add a little bit of detail to it and make it your own. Absolutely fantastic. Really cool idea. Really good execution. And you got a week left to go and have a look. And it's cool to see they're down at Entoyment. Absolutely love that. Really cool. And I think, guys, that does wrap up the news, but just want to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who supports the channel in any way, shape or form, whether you like, subscribe, share, support us on Patreon, be YouTube member, pick up things from the shop. It all helps us do stuff. And it's been a heck of a journey, but the studio is very nearly there. I've got the overhead rigging in place for the cameras now. I've got the tubes, so and I've been presenting my slidey thing, so we're going to be able to make some good content. It is a race against the baby at the moment, but it is really cool. Oh dear, why is work emailing this time? Ugh. So yeah, a massive thank you to everyone out there, and thank you for the patience. We've started putting videos out again. Things are kind of turning back to normal. And the other big shout out I think it's got to go to Brush Tithe. Ben, I know that you have got a lot of work to do at the moment, but it is
sorry that I'm just
always
doing it while we record.
always worth reminding people that Brush Tithe for your premium Blood Bowl team painting needs.
Yeah, the launch discount for Brush Tithe is over now, and I've had a lot of orders through, which is great. Everyone should have the rough deadline, but there is a discount that's running permanently for Bonehead Podcast members if you use code Bonehead at checkout. You get 10% off, whatever. So there's no deadline on that. If you want 10% off, use code Bonehead.
The only disappointing thing about how busy you've been is I really genuinely did think I was going to be able to be like, oh, that's okay. We'll top you up with an order here, Ben. Get some teams painted for the channel. And I was like, hey, what about this team? And you're like, yeah, no, Merry Christmas. But that's brilliant, though, and that's just kind of living the dream, which is wicked. And it's been awesome to see everyone support you as well, which is so good.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
The only thing we need to do is get you to do more hobby live streams, because Tiff and I
they are coming. We'll talk about this in hobby in a bit, but I was going to do one, so we'll come on to that in a minute.
Oh, fantastic. Right, well, that wraps up news. Let's have a quick chat about hobby. Okay, so hobby: building, buying, playing, painting, priming, more often than not, I think, than that. I'm happy to go first and say all of my hobby time has been spent this month with actually, I decorated my bathroom, put a nice new floor in, painted up the walls, killed all the random like mold dead spots, the little black bits on the wall. I was like, no, let's chemical warfare that. Put a nice big kitchen, a nice big bathroom cabinet up there. That was some good hobby. Then I got the concrete mixer out, which was wicked, and just had a wonderful morning of putting bricks down and laying concrete for the printer shed, and then drilled all the base to the shed, and then Storm Babette came along and made everything insanely soggy. Now, being from the south, that's as much as I can complain about it, because obviously everywhere else has had it much worse. In fact, Brute Fun messaged and was like, hey, have you been hit by the storm? And I've been like, well, I had a drive home from work that was awfully drizzly, and that's probably as bad as it's been for us down here down south. But my hobby was building things properly. And I kind of sat back and I was like, I cannot wait to just have a little bit of time to paint something again. But you know me, I'm a deadline painter, so I need to have a reason to paint something. And we need to get that sorted. But yeah, I've been playing with power tools, feeling very Trips-like. How about you guys? Anything good?
Yeah, I've been working on some stuff.
Painted anything, Ben?
Yeah, I've completed a few jobs. They've gone out to people, which has been really satisfying. But I have been working on my own stuff. So I mentioned earlier, I'll talk about stream. I was going to stream this week and do a big old 24-hour thing again, because I've got Full Beard Cup this weekend at Warhammer World. So as this is going out, unless you're a patron, I'll be playing there. Yeah, so I've been working on a Corn team, which is going to be my Corn team for the foreseeable future, that I plan to run in lots of tournaments. So I'm trying extra hard on it.
100-game team, right?
Yeah, ideally, I want to get 100 games with it, 100 ranked games before the next World Cup, and then take it there.
Should it not be 88?
You know what? That's better. Let's do 88. The big guy, the Bloodspawn, has 88 on him, so that's his number.
No.
So yeah. So yeah, I've been working on them. I'm all sorts of sleep deprived at the moment. I was like, okay, let's power through. 9 a.m. yesterday. I got to about 5:30, and I thought I'll just have a nap. And then I woke up 4 hours later, and I was like, okay, back at it. And so I'm still at it.
Sleep is for the weak. Yeah. Sleep is for the weak. Ooh,
yeah.
Screen's come up.
I was fully prepared to stream it. I set everything up to do so, and then I decided last minute I actually need to get this done. And streaming, while really fun, is slower,
not as productive.
Yeah. So I will be making it a regular thing, streaming some of the Brush Tithe work as well, maybe throughout the day. So sorry, American listeners, but daytime streams are a bit easier to do. So yeah, that's the foreseeable plan. So. It's going well. I feel like I haven't really done anything but paint lately, so I could talk about it for a long time, but there's not enough time on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is what we were saying just before we started recording, right? Is that now that's kind of what you have to do so often that making sure that you have time to go and play is it's gonna be such a wicked palette cleanser. I mean, not for beer. Are you going up on Friday or are you sevening?
Yeah, so they're doing 7s on the Friday, but I'm going up with Greenskin Phil.
Yeah.
We're not doing the 7s, but we're going to go up on the Friday and practice probably in Bugman's while the 7s is going on. So,
that's wicked. That's amazing. Right.
Yeah,
Practice in Budman.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Right. Let's see if we can do us a bit of a diary or something as you go, Ben. Round by.
Yeah, I'll document it. Yeah, because I think it's 5, 6 rounds. I think it might be 5 rounds.
yeah.
5?
Yeah. So, and I'll let you know how the pub quiz goes because I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, there's a pub quiz.
Yeah, there's a Blood Bowl pub quiz ran by the organisers so, on the Saturday night. So we shall see. It will be quite embarrassing doing a podcast and not being able to answer any questions. Almost like going to the World Cup and not winning any games.
I quite fancy that. Like a little cheeky Blood Bowl FAQ pub quiz. Well, as long as it's not about the FAQs, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Which of these rules hasn't been changed?
Yeah. I was doing the star player spotlight, and I was like, I can't remember how much Morg is anymore. I think he's 340, but he might be 380 now. I was like, I don't know anymore.
Like Hackman being strength 2 and sidestep and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ooh, sidestep. So Trips, how about you, mate? Anything fun?
I've been not too productive on the hobby front. I had a desk getting messy tidy up and tidied away some painted miniatures, put them in their display cases, and then there was the Munda preview and a new Munda book, and the only way I could find myself just from distracting from ordering that was starting some ambots, which were really good fun to paint because very different to Blood Bowl miniatures. So I've been painting those up and making some desk accessories because I was feeling jealous of the power tools. So went out and made some desk accessories, but haven't got. Oh, see, there we go. Tempting. Oh, don't go down any further. I'll get really tempted.
Yeah, they are some very cool models.
Can you hurry up and run Necromunda at Club, please, Ian? Because I really want those Van Sar mechs.
Yes, that's going to be a early 2024 thing. So we'll give everyone a bit of warning time. I
like that. I think they'll go down well. I think they'll go down too well. Fantastic. All right, so that's wicked. So you're off for the weekend, Ben, to shoot some dice, which is cool. There's no club next week because it's the first week of the month. Last week,
I think it's Halloween.
It's Halloween. It's the last Tuesday of the month.
Ooh, I feel like I saw a post earlier about there being a club or not, because Ian was like,
I think there was an ask.
Have 2 weeks off. Interesting.
Probably because Halloween's there for the kids. So
yep. Yeah. Anyway, we got Bonehead Bowl on the 4th, which I'm super looking forward to. So we got that next week, and I've got a nice long weekend booked next week actually. Potentially to hang out with you and do something on the Friday, Ben, and I've got Monday off to hang out with Tiff to make up for being at a tournament all day Saturday. So that's very cool. So I'm looking forward to that mini break. And you know what, guys? Christmas is nearly here. Have you got your trees all sorted?
What?
I did see it when I was in the loft the other day. I was like, that's not coming out for another 4 weeks. But
yeah, I spoke a bit too soon. I did buy the orc Christmas jumper. So
yes,
to go with the corner.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah,
we went and got our Christmas tree the other day. We were in John Lewis. Tiff had to take something back, and we walked past them, and I was like, "Oh!" And she got really excited and kind of figured it was the right one. And you know what? I got a 6-foot fake tree. It's only 50 quid. I had like the white snow effect on it as well. Yeah. I was like, "That's not bad." Like I was expecting it to be much more expensive than that, especially from John Lewis.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, think how much that would have got you on Forge World, about this much.
Yeah, I think I can hold the model actually.
But we've got this rule in retail, which is, generally speaking, Christmas decorations don't go up until after Armistice Day. So Tiff and I have got it circled in the diary for the 12th of November, only because of the baby stuff going on. That this year the Christmas tree is going up a little bit early, but otherwise I don't know. And it's, first Christmas at our new house, we've got the Christmas tree space all planned. And I've got some Christmas decorations on the brew as well that I'm looking forward to putting on the tree.
Ooh,
So
okay.
yeah, so very, very, very cool. Right, any more guys, or should we talk Bonehead Bowl?
Let's go Bonehead Bowl.
Our Trips is talking.
Oh,
Prepare your ears.
Here we go back.
Whoa.
There we go. Sorry, gents.
No, I'm
Don't know
getting
what
you
it's
for
doing.
Christmas.
Reset and Windows update. So Milton and I started playing some more Blood Bowl 3 on a more regular basis.
Yes,
We
of
are
course.
Wednesdaying every other Wednesday. So non-podcast Wednesday, as we film and record on a Wednesday night. So next Wednesday, Milton and I will be both playing in the Bonehead League. Well, the ladder, it's still not the league because the league tools aren't coming out anytime before Christmas. Yeah, we both played. Milton got a couple of games in last week. Had one game with Dark Elves, which he did not enjoy, on the basis that he ended up with 4 Dark Elves on the pitch. And then he went into playing with some OWA, and he much more enjoyed that because they can bash things, and we know what Milton likes doing mostly.
Interesting. I wonder how he
and
got on
I-
with OWA.
Yeah, he was quite enjoying it. I made the mistake of popping him to watch for 5 minutes, and he rolled a 1, so I quickly went away. And I started a clean Lizards team and got pretty smashed. It's always bad when the catcher on an OWA team takes out your Croxador.
Oh, were you playing Richard Saxby? That's like Saxby level of murder.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But I did kill I can't remember who I killed. Killed somebody with a skink. So that for me was a good result.
Are you running a chameleon skink?
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
I've got to say, on the ball
On
a
the
regular
ball.
basis.
I hate that skill so much.
Oh, fantastic. No, that's
Bad
wicked
game.
Trips. I love that. I love it. Get guys in the Discord are getting some games in. I'm gonna have to. Oh, I love it so much. That's so cool.
Well, it was quite good because we tested the spectator mode as well. So I streamed the game, Milton played online, but the spectator mode does work. So if you want to join the chat when we're doing it, we're going to use the Discord voice channels, and you can actually see the bad rolling in person.
That's very cool. Oh, fingers crossed for some good league action, like some good league tools and some proper esports, not just battle bots, actual proper esports. Wicked. But the biggest thing in the Blood Bowl diary for me is Bonehead Bowl. So let's have a look at what's coming up. Okay, so Bonehead Bowl is our tournament with the most legacy. I think this is like our 5th or 6th Bonehead Bowl, including an online one that we ran during the apocalypse. And with the exception of the online one we ran during the apocalypse, it's not really strayed from its core inception of being absolute mixed team madness, which I realise is written on the thing. Yeah, okay, there you go. Good job. All right. So the best thing about running out the same format is you don't have to redo the rules pack very often, which is wonderful. So next Saturday, not this Saturday, had a wonderful moment with Ian where he nearly turned up to play Vampires a week early, Trips, because I said, hey, what are you doing next Thursday, Ian? Do you want to come and play some Vampires? He was like, yeah, sure. Then he messaged me like Thursday lunchtime saying, Vampires tonight? I'm like, no, next Thursday, Ian, not this Thursday. Absolute animal. Anyway, next Saturday, the 4th, we're going to be at Entoyment with 40 plus absolute legends of Blood Bowl players running a complete mix of teams. So the cool thing that we do with Bonehead Bowl is it is mixed teams or regular teams, and now the Dungeon Bowl's out, you've got Dungeon Bowl teams in there as well. No, you can't mix one Dungeon Bowl team with another Dungeon Bowl team. That would actually be a little bit too unnecessary. But you can kind of build your own Dungeon Bowl teams by building a mixed team. It's going to be 3 games. We're going to kick off at 10 and we'll finish up about 5:30, which is kind of normal. The first game tends to be a little bit longer, so it's just before lunch break. So we actually have got a little bit of extra time budgeted, because when you sit down the first time playing your own mixed team, it can take a little bit extra cogitating. So we'll be doing that, but it will be 3 games. And do you know what? That's kind of all we really need to touch on. It's 1100 team value. You've got some skills based on your mixed teams. If you want to read the rules back, go to the Bonehead Podcast website and click on the Bonehead Bowl bit and then click on the rules, because it's all there. And we've not really changed it from last year, because the amount of rosters you can brew up is just absolutely fantastic. Well, we made it simple. Well, maybe it was last year we made it more simple. Maybe last year we made it more simple, didn't we? And just had the alignments and not to worry about the like crossover rules.
Yeah, we tried the keywords a couple of years back, and it was not as mixed fun madness as we wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like but you've got 2 order teams or 2 chaotic teams. You can kind of go half and half. You got to take the most expensive of the rerolls if you take 2 teams, and you've got to have at least 4 players from each of your rosters. But otherwise, you can go nuts, and you can use a star player that's eligible for each of the teams in your mixed teams. So if you take Orcs and Skaven, you can run Hackflem. That would be filth. This is what I love about this roster building process. Is like, actually, this is interesting. And now with vampires dropping, because we put out there the vampires are both order and chaos, so you could kind of run, I don't know, you could run a halfling vampire team with, old Luther in there as like kind of like Luther and Griff on a vampire halfling team. 4 thralls. Don't worry about the vampires. Just take halflings, trees, Griff, and Luther. Anyway, doesn't matter, because the roster deadline is gone and everybody's got their roster in. This is absolutely, I don't think it's ever happened before, which is just phenomenal. And Trips, do you want to run us through a couple of the breakdown of teams, what we got going on?
Yeah, so, well, firstly, big thanks to Milton for a massive job to not only get all the rosters in, get them sorted, and leave me with the most fun job, which is checking Bonehead Bowl rosters, which is just the best episode of how mad can we get? And then you open another one and you go, ooh, would have never thought you could do that, but someone has. So we've got a really good mix. We have at least one vanilla team. We have plenty of mixed teams. We have a couple of Dungeon Bowl teams, and we have a full range of different stars and 4 giants.
Yes, love to see the giants. Now we include giants in all of our tournaments because at 350 they're quite an investment. So you've got to, if you're taking a giant, it's kind of like it's a giant roster as opposed to a team plus giant, which is what we did during one of our series. So actually, you have to give up like a quarter of your roster, over a quarter of your roster, to be able to take a giant. It's a third of the roster, basically. I love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, we've also got Milton, who is full on playing in the tournament, and BT is going to be the odd man in. So Milton has brewed up his own little roster for this very special event. I would love for him to announce it.
He's looked at all the rosters that have come in, and he's tailored the perfect roster. The skeleton key that can beat all.
No, he talked about it on the last pod, didn't he? I think, what was it, Orcs and Snotlings he's running?
He's got orcs and Snotlings, yeah.
Miserable.
I'm so.
I feel like adding Snotlings into anything is just, you just made your team like 0.5.
I'd say Skaven with Snotlings, but that's just Underworld, and that's performing tier 1. So yeah, I think you may have proven it right. Is there any other sneaky one there that could be amazing? Dark Elves Snotlings Trips. Why have you not done that? You can actually afford all of your positionals that way.
You could. So let's do the quick team race quiz. What do you think is the highest race that appears at Bonehead Bowl?
Not like.
No, I think it's going to be one of the cheap linemen. Rosters. I don't think it will be Amazons, although I think that would be a good shout. I think Norse because they fit into both Order and Chaos.
So it is tied at the top. It is Norse and Goblins.
Oh,
Wow.
actually, Goblins is a proper good shout because worst case scenario, you're just kind of chucking in a chainsaw and a fanatic to
Cheap weapons, yeah.
Notlings are the third most popular team with definitely lots of careful use of swarming. There are a number of rosters where they have maximized filling every roster slot.
It's going to be a busy TO day, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
I'm well up for that.
In will be a dangerous thing, but
No. It'll be absolutely fine. It'll be wicked because me and Trips can just run up and down answering questions about how swarming works. Apparently,
There will be a bit.
What have we got? Have we got any Nurgle? We've got no Nurgle. I can lip read Trips here. Something's happened with his mic today.
Let's try that.
His fancy lights are taking all the electricity for the mic.
No Nurgle. I don't know why it keeps changing.
No Nurgle. You tend to find with these mixed team events, people want the cheap chaff with a bit of muscle. That Nurgle actually, you can like a Nurgle Skaven team or a Nurgle Underworld team is a really potent combination. You got that absolute meat and tenacity mixed in with, just the best team in Blood Bowl. So that's interesting. Okay, cool. No Nurgle. How many vampire strips?
There are, I think, there are 3 vampire teams.
I like it. Are they all mixed?
Yes, they're all mixed, I think.
That's going to be quite entertaining.
And there is one very, very brave vampire roster. I won't go into the full roster because it takes it away, but it has got multiple vampires and 1 thrall.
Whoa.
Oh, that's going to be... Have they gone...
check with them, just like, you can't bite anyone but that thrall.
We had a couple of people ask that, actually. They sent in a question to Milton. And it's like, no, the rule says the rule. I know. And with the old vampire roster, that would have been quality because Animal Savagery just is a free-for-all and Snotlings just built to swarm and die. Oh, that's wicked. Star players. Have you got a decent look at the star players as well?
Yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 14 different star players.
Please tell me there are not very many bombers.
There are Bomber is the top 2 stars are both mega stars, and we have 4 bombers and 4 hack flames.
Yeah, I don't know if we clarify that we're allowing megastars for free.
Yeah, so megastars are in it without being megastars this year.
Yeah. This will be
this year is
the last time. I actually think the Megastar thing is the way Games Workshop have done it with the match play rules. Actually, just a really elegant way of doing it.
But we also we've got a Griff, we've got a Morg, we've got a couple of Drool and Dribbles.
Yes, absolutely love that.
Yeah, so nice little, really nice, good range of stars to see.
I am very excited about that.
I've been thinking about my old man in list. I think I'm going to go Khorne Chaos Dwarf to cause ultimate misery to everyone. And the reason I'm thinking is because I'm working on the teams and I'm matching their bases, so it'll be consistent. But I think that could actually be quite brutal.
Would you take the Spawn or the Minotaur?
I take the Mino.
Mm-hmm.
Because Animal Savagery is better than Unchanneled Fury. So,
je agree on that one. Did you say Khorne are quite popular?
Quite popular. We have 5 Khorne teams.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. See, it's that cheap chaff, cheap frenzy, and or Bloodseekers. Because Bloodseekers are just amazing.
Yeah.
Especially when you can give them block.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a huge amount of skills kicking around in this format. Most teams are going to get, what, 4? Is that right?
Yeah. Or
All teams are going to get 4. Most of them are going to be sort of 2 primary, 3 primary, 1 secondary, or something like that. So Ben, if you took a Khorne and Chaos Dwarf team, you'd get 3 primary and a secondary. So you could chuck block or pro on your big guy, and then Khorne
And then just Seekers block.
Khorne is hungry for skulls, but is also hungry for skills.
It's hungry for cash.
Yeah, true.
You're not going to afford many players.
Did you guys see the mini wargaming Dave's Kickstarter? He's doing like a 40k rip-off thing.
Ravage Lands. Something.
Yes, yeah. That's it. But the Kickstarter is only going to be live for 8 days, 8 hours, 8 minutes, and 8 seconds.
I respect that a lot.
I know. That Khorne being, having the number 8 as their holy number, I think is just absolute quality finish. I thought that was so good.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that as well. Okay, so that's cool. Trips, you're not odd manning in, but what would have been your roster of choice for this event?
I think I would have probably gone something big guy heavy, something block heavy. I think last year I did odd man in, and I took lizards, and I think I took lizards and dark elves, and lizards and high elves, and it did not go well.
Very celestial.
It was very squished as a roster, and I spent most of the time running away with high elves desperately. And if I run away, that involves me dodging, and we all know what that means. So I think I probably would have gone something corny. I think I might have gone Khorne and humans, actually. I think there's a bit of a fun roster there.
Quality ball handling skills, solid blitzers. That's
Khorne really lacks that.
Yeah,
like just reliably moving the ball. So yeah.
Yeah, because you probably would have gone without the Khorne gore there and gone with the human blitzers with the base skills, and then you can use Khorne linemen to just wreck.
Human blitzers with a cheeky bit of guard.
Yeah.
Throwing the catcher for a nice bit of movement.
I would have gone the catcher for the bit of movement and detail, because that would have given you a couple of extra movement. But yeah, I think definitely a guard player to rotate around, and that would have been fun.
This just makes me so hungry to do another Hangover Bowl, Ben. Because just being forced to have a combination of any 2 teams, just there isn't a bad combination of 2 teams. I really don't think so. I'm looking at this.
That's a good question, actually. What would be the worst combo?
I just don't see it. I just don't see a bad combo here.
They unlock something that they couldn't normally do.
I think Nurgle. You can't have Nurgle and Halfling, but that would be bad at Nurgle and Halfling.
Yeah. I don't know if it would, actually. I still think they could do pretty well.
Yeah, I was gonna. The thing
Nurgle
is,
doesn't have any stunty. And then you can get strength 4 blockers on halflings, which is quite.
I think Undead Nurgle would be the kind of team you could absolutely go into and think, I may not score, but you may never ever do anything you want to do.
I remember when we play tested the rules, like the team build rules for this with Saxby, and I ran an Undead Khemri team with 6 mummies essentially, and it was just beautiful because I built this cage of 6 strength 5 dudes around a ghoul, and it was just it was just so dominating.
What do you do against that?
Nothing. You just concede the touchdown. It was brilliant. I can't remember what he was playing, but he was just like, all I can do is try and 2-die up block a corner of your cage, and I'm like, yeah.
Like dodge in on a 6 or something.
Go for it. Well, I tell you what, I actually think that those teams that are taking vampires with a cheeky bit of access to Hypnogaze is going to be a really strong counter to a lot of cagey play. And if we're having a big guy, big team, like heavy meta, then actually a couple of 2+ Hypnogaze access, I think will absolutely blow it open.
I agree.
I'm really excited. I think we're going to see some people are going to get surprised. I think, like me, with that 6 mummy cage, actually you hypno off a corner, you can probably find a route in. to hit the ball carrier or to do something. And
maybe taking the, like vampires with dwarves, so then you got like a troll slayer to dauntless block stuff. If you hypnogaze like a if you're hypnogazing big guys into a dauntless blitz or something, that's pretty.
Oh, that's juicy.
Pretty big.
I think vampires corn then. Actually, you know what? Let's just go vampires. You got thralls and the marauders to go on the line. You just got seekers just there to absolutely mince meat inside the cage.
Funny you say that. There is a vampire corn roster.
That's juicy.
Yes. Oh, I love this. I might go through the rosters and like seed them.
Yeah.
So I can be like, right, number 1 seed is this team. But then again, that's probably because I've been watching BattleBots.
Actually, I'm thinking vampires corn. What would I take? Probably 2 runners, a thrower, and then just bloodseekers. And
I don't know if I'd.
Maybe not even that. Maybe just a runner and a thrower, and then because you don't want too many vamps, and then just seeker it. Have some edge 2+ with the thrower. Yeah. Have the runner for the strength, for the speed, and the hypnogaze. And then
I might try and fandangle it a little bit more and actually go with like a thrower and then Carla von Fangs. 240 is pricey, but that first Bloodlust failure, being able to just kind of wander up, hypnogaze you, Bloodlust immediate. I mean, Bloodlust, if you fail Bloodlust and bite one of their players, as long as they're actually, it is strength 3 or under, so in this meta it may not be the most appropriate, but it's just an auto stab. It's just flipping awesome. I
think it would still be useful because like you're probably going to get a lot of teams which throw in like an easy blodge piece. Did you say there are many Amazons, Ian? Because
there are not very many Amazons.
Interesting.
I think there's only 1 Amazon roster.
Ooh.
Wow. Interesting.
Ooh, yeah. I find that disrespectful.
Out of all the new teams, Amazons are very much underrepresented compared to the others.
Right, that's it.
That's crazy.
First game we play from the studio will be a matched play game, and I will run Amazons with Drawl and Dribble. We'll do tournament format, we'll do Beachhead tournament format, and I will run that roster because I think that roster is wonderful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, and I believe you have an Amazon team I can borrow.
Yeah.
Do I have an Amazon team?
I think you do. The one we had on stream last time.
Oh,
no, that was my team.
Yeah. I definitely started painting an Amazon team. I don't know where it is. To the printer. Right, I think that's on my to-do list because I like that roster, and there's just a lot of cool match play rosters. And now the World Cup has gone, I feel like we're back in kind of like a more exploratory tournament roster place where it's less kind of one size fits all. So I don't know, I'm excited to do that. But no, I'm well excited for Bonehead Bowl, and I'm very excited for the participants of that day to see the loot. We've got a different route with the loot this time, and I think it's gonna be a hoot.
Nice.
Really,
yeah, it's good.
I'm excited for this one. So yeah, it'll be a heck of a day. We got Milton playing, we might have Ben playing, and me and Trips will be wandering around trying to unpick the rules that you have come up with questions for. And I cannot wait. I'm going to take photos, and I'm going to bust out the microphone again, see if I can do some player interviews, Trips. Because I remember I was talking to Tiff, and I was like, I remember doing a player interview with you.
Yeah, many Bonehead Bowls, or many tournaments ago.
I think that might have been our second Bonehead Bowl. Maybe it couldn't have been our first.
I think it was the
maybe
one where
it was Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone. That was the one because it was my first tournament.
Absolutely quality. Wonderful. Well, guys, anything else to add on Bonehead Bowl except just the joy of mixed teams?
Just looking forward to it, and absolute the excitement of the level of madness. It's for anyone who's coming who hasn't been before. Be very prepared to look at your opponent's team and go, "Oh,
yes."
It's not fair, but it's fun.
I remember somebody commenting. I think we did. I don't know, maybe we announced it or something, and they put a comment on one of our videos that was like, "Seems a bit overpowered." It's like, dude, this is the goal. Like, this is the goal. You know, you sit at league and you'd be like, oh, I wish this team had this, or I wish this team had this, and you're like, okay, give it a go. Like, and I love the mix, because there's going to be some people that just go heavy on as many big guys as possible, because you can't ever do it otherwise. And that's what's so good about this kind of format, is that once a year you get to bring a roster that you've never brought before, will never bring again, and you will play 3 games against teams that you will probably never ever play again. So this is like just 3 spectacle games that make no sense and will just be outrageous. I think Bonehead Bowl was the time we had Rick go and lose like 4-3 or 5-4 or something in the first round, because him and his opponent were both running Wood Elf Halfling combos or something, and were just like,
yeah, it was 5-4,
yeeting everything everywhere. Like, it's just phenomenal. And then Ben, we your first one was the 4 Troll Day.
First tournament.
Absolutely quality. It was the first tournament we ran.
5 Troll. Wasn't it? No, it was 4. Because it was pre-snarling.
Yeah, pre-snarling. Yeah, Goblin, Orc, Ripper. God.
Yeah.
See? Highly successful roster.
I always love it when people are like, they look at their rosters and go, this is great. I can line everyone up in the line of scrimmage and I'll be fine. And then you look at the opponent's team and you're like, it's not going to be fine, because you've also bought all the big guys.
That's what's so good about it. Or the other one is there where they're like, yeah, I've got 8 strength 4 pieces and a big guy. This is monstrous. No one's going to touch me. And they look at the roster and they're like, ooh, do you know what? I've got 1 bull carrier. And they're gone. And it's like, okay, Black Orcs for the win. And I guarantee there's got to be an Orc. There's got to be a couple of Black Orc rosters in their trips. Yeah. Black Orcs, I think, are a really solid base for mixed teams. 4 Orcs rosters as well. Yeah, Orcs are also pretty great. And, this is where I'm excited about that Brute Fun team, is because this is exactly the kind of thing you can just go absolutely ham on. Trips, this is reminding me, the other thing I did get done the last couple of weeks is I managed to watch both of the Emily Blunt movies, where everyone uses sign language. And do you know what? I watched them with Tiff. Tiff hates horror movies. They were phenomenal. Jim from The Office, John Krasinski, he's brilliant.
That's what you're going. Oh my god! I had no idea what you're talking about.
A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place.
Yeah, the Quiet Place ones. Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Is this some kind of like romance or something?
No, Jim from The Office. Oh, just so moving. Emily Blunt is amazing. I loved Emily Blunt in the Tom Cruise time travel movie. I thought that was wicked. I thought she was great in that.
Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Groundhog Day with mech suits.
Yeah.
Like that. That was a good bit of quality cinema.
And one of those great films that you can literally turn it on at any point. You know, I've missed a bit, but they will repeat the day.
Yeah, exactly. I'll pick it up the next time round. So good. And we watched all the Hunger Games the Hunger Games movies as well, because we kind of thought this will be gentle, and Tiff hasn't seen, bless her, any movies. And I was like, well, this is a kid's film. This would be good. It'd be good to show our daughter this one day. And I forgot how incredibly harrowing it was. But the guy in that who's going to be the Witcher, Thor's little brother.
Oh yeah,
Junior. Yeah.
Properly,
Liam Hemsworth.
yeah, properly has Jim from The Office vibes. He's talking. I was like, he looks like a young John Krasinski. I was like, this is cool. I actually like him now. I can't wait to see Jim from The Office basically be the Witcher. Oh yeah, it's been interesting. Anyway, that's my little media outburst. That is something I did achieve. I watched a lot of rubbishy TV while off my face on Beecham's. It's good times. It took me like 2 days to watch The Two Towers, and not just because it was the extended version, just because I kept falling asleep. But man, watching the Two Towers again was just so wonderful. Like, for a movie that's 400 years old now, it really hits the spot.
And I shall die as one of them.
Exactly right. Old Elf Boy has more lines than I remember from that movie. Like I just remember as a child thinking, I hope that guy isn't paid by the word, because all I remember of Legolas is him picking up things and saying a random name and then running off, because I felt like that's all he did through all the movies, is like pick up something.
Kind of true, yeah.
Yeah, it's like John Krasinski and run off into the distance. And yeah, really impressed. But no, really good. Anyway, sorry to go on a ramble. I haven't really seen you guys for weeks. It's been crazy.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
But we started a little bit early today, so we're going to wrap up a little bit early today. I'm going to go watch the Sam and Colby video with Tiff, because we like ghosts and I like it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Bubble content. Happy blocking. Got very distracted by watching TV there. But no. Wicked. Right. I should probably stop recording. Bye-bye. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.